Members of the January 6th House Subcommittee are planning to host those primetime hearings tomorrow night. We've been talking about it. Many of former President Trump's most vocal allies, though, calling the plan political theater. Joining us now is former acting United States Attorney General Matt Whitaker. Sir, welcome back to National Report. What are your expectations for tomorrow night's live January 6th special?
Well, I think it's going to be political theater. It's going to be dangerous, actually, because the American tradition is that there is an opposition. Whether it's in Congress, you have Republicans, Democrats that challenge each other and take equal time, or in court, where it's my experience, where you have cross-examination of witnesses. This is going to be hand-picked. There's no opposition. There's going to be no ability to cross-examine or impeach witnesses or otherwise, question the evidence. And I've never seen anything like this. And the fact that the mainstream media is playing along with this, where you have two handpicked Republicans that are never Trumpers, I think we're going to see a culmination of really the only thing the Democrats want to talk about right now, and that is Donald Trump. And it's not a winning message for 2022. And the American people are, quite frankly, sick of it.
Well, that goes on to my next question. Really, the goal behind choosing to air these during a primetime special, again, you're interrupting your typical coverage there on these major networks. So that is clearly a decision. Again, reports that the former ABC News president had been tapped to sort of produce this special. So we'll see what that entails. But is there an interest for people tuning in to watching it actually play out, to, of course, learn the findings of this committee that has been working on months to get to the bottom of it?
Most likely there's not a lot of interest. I do not expect that the ratings for this are going to be good. I would recommend people watch Game 5 of Tampa Bay and New York Rangers. It's going to be much better competitive game where there actually is opposition and people that are competing, where in this case, it is going to be a one-sided, hand-picked, produced by Hollywood special. And it's not going to advance the ball. It's not going to change people's minds. And it's quite frankly going to be an absolute waste of time when we have so many other challenges facing our country.
While we've got you here, I wanted to ask you about Peter Navarro and his arrest, what he alleges there, again, the shackles, being handcuffed. Tell me about that. Do you think that that is also politically motivated, as we've heard him describe it to be?
I do. I think he was, obviously the FBI has the discretion to either arrest someone or to have them report on their own recognizance. Peter Navarro was no threat, was not violent, had demonstrated, no precursors to what happened to him. And so I think he should have just had a notice to report. Remember, he's being charged with misdemeanors as well. This is as kin to somebody that did something wrong at a national park, and got a ticket in a national park and was on the misdemeanor docket. So, we need to keep this in proportion. I think it was a completely unnecessary arrest, and it could have been handled a lot better. And I'm disappointed in those that made that decision.
I want to turn now to something we saw recently from the president. He signed some police reform executive order. It aims to do the following here: promoting accountability, raising standards, supporting law enforcement with improved systems and training, improving data transparency and oversight of new technologies, and reforming our broader criminal justice system. Again, this action taken by the White House here. Maybe I can get your comment, too, on those results that we saw out in California, specifically in San Francisco, where voters voted to recall the district attorney there, Chesa Boudin. How does this play into where the country is headed when it comes to really getting criminal activity under control and then also supporting law enforcement?
Yeah, well, the executive order is just continues to perpetuate sort of what the left believes, is that all police officers are racist, that systemically the system is broken, that criminals are actually the victims of an unfair system. And I wrote an opinion piece on this yesterday that shares kind of my thoughts on this executive order. As it relates to the recall, I think what's happening is, quite frankly, the American people, and especially in these communities that have these Soros-funded, far-left activist prosecutors, is they want law and order. They want a safe community. They want violent crime out of their cities, and they want every child to be able to play safely in their front yard. And what you see in places like San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, where these far left prosecutors have been in place, is you see quite the opposite. Violent crime is on the rise, murders, these daylight shootings like we saw in Philadelphia and other places by gang members. They're just not going to tolerate it anymore, and that's why the American people are rising up and taking back control.
The shoplifting that we've seen, those vehicle break-ins as well, just when you watch it play out, clearly residents of San Francisco, it's such a progressive city, they've had enough. Matt Whitaker. Yeah, exactly. And they voted. All right. Thanks so much for joining us today. Really do appreciate the conversation. Thank you.
Good to be with you. Thank you.
So